You're listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. What up, everybody? It's your boy, Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders Podcast. And today, we have an amazing independent creator that has a scroll of roles. Let me tell you, he is a writer, he is a producer, he is the comedian, he's a podcaster, he's a publisher, and the list goes on. He wears more hats than anyone I've ever seen. The one, the only, the ever powerful, the future legend in the making right here, Chris Mancini. What up, brother? How you doing?
Hey, great. Good to be here, Al. Nice to meet you. This is awesome. I love that intro too. I'm gonna use that for sure. So
you're a boss, brother. We all man behind White Cat Entertainment, bringing an amazing abundance of media entertainment, like that transmedia, because you cover it all. You're not limited to one type of media. So thank you for being creative and sharing in that journey. We're about to get into that. So Chris, a bit about yourself, my homie. Tell us where you from originally, and what was your first love in pop culture?
My first love was probably it had to be comic books. Although movies was a super close second. I mean, I grew up watching like all the Spielberg and the Indiana Joneses and the Star Wars and all of the once I got to see Star Wars in the theater in 1977 when I was very young, and that kind of like set me on this journey of like, oh my God, that's what these things can be. And I remember my first Spider-Man comic book too. I don't remember the number of it, but I remember, I'm sure your fans will be like, oh, I know exactly which one that is. It was Spider-Man. And on the cover, he was fighting the Rocket Racer. So basically it was a villain on a skateboard. And also in the back was like the big wheel. Like there was this giant guy. There was a guy in a giant wheel that would spin around and had guns on it. So that I remember that cover specifically. That was my first Spider-Man comic. And I was hooked from then on pretty much. Like at a very early age. I'd say like 7 or 8.
Have you ever tried to recreate that wheel?
That would be awesome. I think that would be cool. Just and not have to worry about parking. Just kind of go wherever you want. Yeah.
Get out the way. Boom. All right. Parking available, folks. Don't mind the scraps. All right. And where were you raised and born at, brother?
I'm a Philly guy, so I was raised in the suburbs in Philly, but then I spent a lot of time in Philadelphia. I lived there. I started doing stand-up there, and I went to college there.
Are you an Eagles fan?
How can you not be an Eagles fan? But I'm one of the few Eagles.
Folks, I'm sorry, I got to cut this podcast short today.
Yeah, but I'm one of the few Eagles fans that don't yell and boo their own team. So,
hey, I'm a New York Giants fan. And, come on, brother, who are you talking to?
So, if I don't like what the team's doing, I stay silent. I don't yell at them. I just like, okay, that's
you want to suck. That's on you. What can we do? You want to suck? That's you, brother.
Yeah.
I'll support you when you're good. Right now, I can't. I'm not proud. It's like when you have a bad kid, right? Yeah. You almost don't want to admit that you're a kid. You're like, shit, no.
Yeah.
Is that
like,
your
then
kid?
you just go, I don't follow football. Then you just really get an excuse. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan. I don't understand. Yeah, whatever. Act stupid. It works. That's what we men do, ladies. That's the secret there. We just don't fucking. Yeah. We don't want to get involved. We don't know.
I remember a woman once asked me, "Is like, why don't men get it?" I said, "That's not the problem. The problem is that women don't get that men don't get it. That's the problem."
Right? Exactly. Just leave it alone.
Everyone knows men don't get it. That's not the problem. We know. That's the.
Right, move on, please. Thank God. All right, so talk about that early life, man. In your geekdom, were you alone in your geekdom, or what? Or you were a lone wolf growing up, loving what you loved?
I was always the kid that would like figure out a way to avoid recess in school to spend time in the library to read like science fiction and fantasy
Oh,
books.
you were the
And
uber nerd.
yeah, I
Gotcha.
was.
Did you have a
I brought
pocket protector as a kid?
I brought it to the next level. I did, and then on the weekends I would play Dungeons and Dragons, and then but yeah, for sure. It
Oh
was
man.
it was in an early age, and I was, as they say,
Oh,
fully
yeah.
immersed.
I gotta know here because I remember there was a kid that I used to go to. He was a great kid,
Mhm.
love the kid, but he wasn't typical glasses. He would go with the brown Al Bundy slacks, short sleeve button up shirt.
Mhm.
Uber nerd, bro. Or
Yeah.
is that what you were
Yeah.
relegated to?
I was always like I was still a t-shirt and jeans guy, and
Okay.
when we got a little we actually had a really kind of cool high school where it was like,
Okay.
the nerds and football players and the bullies would all coexist. So we had a
In
pretty good
peace.
I know it was weird. Like it was kind of like at Freaks and Geeks where like, hey, the bullies playing Dungeons and Dragons with us this weekend. That's weird. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's
yeah. Listen, man, that's exactly what you need. Hey, let's hang out, man. Bring
yeah,
bring
it
some
all
of those
worked
guys
out.
to a convention. Go ahead, try to mess with me now. Get these
Yeah.
football guys and knock your ass out.
Yeah.
Love it, love it. Oh, that's good though. See, yeah, I had kind of it was kind of like we kept it quiet. It wasn't cool up
Mhm.
in New York back in the day. Yeah, I had
Mhm.
my a little tribe, just very small tribe.
Mhm.
It was funny. We would come back in the stairs of the crib and try to create our own comics. I swear to God, a lot of our ideas got stolen because we were stupid and we were showing them off at the New York Comic Con trying to pitch
Oh,
ideas. But we ain't
yeah.
know no better at the time because we were kids. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yep.
It
Mhm.
happens. It's all right.
Yep.
It's all right.
Mhm. You can keep creating. It's okay. They can't
Exactly.
steal
Look
what
what
you're
I got
about to
now.
make. Yeah.
Yeah, look what I got now, baby. What? I got this, and I'm talking to people like Chris. So, all right, so talk about then your creative journey, brother. So, talk
Yeah.
about when you started getting creative. Like, but what was the first thing you got creative in? Because obviously, you listen, brother. You're a writer, producer, comedian,
Mhm.
podcaster, publisher.
Yep.
You're doing all these
Mhm.
things. Well,
Mhm.
what came first, the
I
chicken or the
started.
egg?
It was
I mean,
definitely writing, and that's definitely my first love has always been writing. I started writing in my teens. Like I did all sorts of writing that I could do. I was like I would write short stories that no one wanted to read, but then I also was writing for the local newspaper. So I was actually getting paid to write
oh, word?
by
Cool.
age 18, and
What made you
uh,
submit to a paper and get paid for it? How the hell that happened so
oh, well,
early?
I was a local news reporter, so I would go on like a
Oh,
beat, and they would
word?
send me to, it was the most
You were you
dull,
don't tell me you
dry.
were like, oh, okay, I was about to say you said on the beat, you weren't trying to be like Billy on the street, right?
Oh, it's when you're in a suburb like in Pennsylvania, the most exciting thing that can happen is like, a new town gets like a traffic light or something like that.
Oh damn.
But
Oh
what
my
I
god,
would
there's a new
do,
stop sign here.
yeah,
All right.
but what I would do though is I was like, hey, can I pitch or bring some articles in? So I actually brought in some comic book related articles that I
Oh
actually wrote, and
cool.
they actually published them. So I was kind of using like, well, yeah, I know I'm writing about local government that nobody reads, but how about like a movie review here and there, and how about like an article about the Dark Knight Returns, or local
Nice.
comic book creator Chuck Dixon, who I met when I was a teenager because
Oh yeah, man.
he was in Pennsylvania too.
We've
So
interviewed Chuck, man. Shout out to Chuck, man, a legend, son.
yeah,
Legend.
so I met him and interviewed him, and so I kind of like brought a little bit of comic book culture to the daily local news in Westchester,
Nice.
Pennsylvania. So
Look at you, man, bringing the love of comics to the hood, baby. That's what Chris do, man. Whereby. All right, so how did that elevate from there? So you're doing this local thing, you're in a paper and whatnot.
yep.
What came next after that?
I started doing stand up, and then I went to
Stand up.
yep, I was doing stand up for a long time. I
How the
started
hell did
managing a
comedy
club.
come into play?
Yeah. It was the kind of thing I always wanted to do. And I realized later that it wasn't really just doing stand up that I loved. It was writing the jokes. Like the writing part of
That
it was always the
okay.
part that I loved the most. But you could get paid for it, and it was instant feedback. And as when you're in college, a part-time job telling jokes paid a lot better and quicker than being a waiter or working like in
Hell yeah,
retail.
yeah. Who
So
wants
I
to
was
get
like,
their ass pinched serving
yeah. So I'm
pancakes
like,
all day? You know
yeah,
what I
I'm
mean?
thinking, all right, well,
Chris,
I can work at the funny bone. Yeah, I can work at the Funny Bone for the week, and make the same I would make in like 3 weeks working like a regular job in college. So, this was in the boom when there was like a lot of comedy clubs and one nighters where you could actually make a fair amount of money, locally.
And what circle are we talking about here?
That's it's like the Philly, New Jersey, kind of like Maryland, Ohio, like kind of that circuit.
And what year?
Early 90s.
All right, but okay, yeah, definitely, I could agree. Yeah, the comedy, there were tons of the comedy clubs in New York. I could definitely attest to that. Like it was popping. I hit so many at that time that are now like defunct.
Yeah, a lot of them aren't around anymore. That is very true. And New York always had the largest kind of concentration of comedy clubs as well. And but I was doing that while I went to college, and I went to film school, and then after college, I kind of went on the road for a little bit. Then I realized I kind of had to move out to LA to move anything forward. So I went out to LA probably mid 90s, and then I started just kind of
fucking LA. Jesus.
Yeah.
I've spoken to so many of you guys. Yeah. Everybody, I just went to the West Coast. I went to Cali. This is such a consistent theme on this podcast.
Well, Al,
talk to me. What was it? Tell me here though, what was it about Cali, and did you know somebody, or did you go blindly?
First of all, you can't beat the weather. So
I agree. I went to San Diego and I'm wearing a suit, and it was the sun is out, but I'm not sweating. My friend had a hoodie, and he's like, "Yo, Al, I don't even feel hot. It's wonderful." I'm like, "Yo, I know this is insane. This is
I felt." I knew almost no one going out to LA. I slept on another comedian's floor while she was on the road, and like we used
not even the
place
couch,
and crashed.
Damn,
not even the there wasn't enough room. We had to. It was it was the floor, and so it was really starting from ground zero. In fact, to help get money for the trip, like on the drive across country, like I stopped at like Catch a Rising Star, and I think it was St. Louis that I made the money for the weekend, and then I'm like, okay, well now I have some cash to go out to LA. So it was
I can go on cash re-ups. Whoa.
When I look at it, I'm like, I did it on a shoestring with nothing, with very few prospects. So
God bless you. Look at you, bro. I mean, you moved on up doing that. Wow, that's amazing, man. But you see, folks, man, when you put your mind to it, it happens. It just happens. And was it easy when you find yourself low? Did the opportunities for you to make that income to keep you moving forward, did you find them easy to come?
No, I honestly, everything was like up and down. Like sometimes it was like, oh, this is great. This is simple. And then other times it was super hard, and then there's obviously a lot of disappointments, and then you're like, oh, I can't make ends meet, I got to get another job, and like it's an ebb and flow, and it's always an up and down, and I hate to say it too, but it's there's even like when you get to a certain level, it's like it's still always kind of like it's a hustle and a struggle. So part of that never goes away, but then there's certain parts that get more comfortable too.
Gotcha. All right, so then talk about when you started doing even more of that. What came first? Was it White Cat or was it the podcast?
It was definitely doing stand-up and writing, and then podcasts for sure. I started Comedy Film Nerds about 12-15 years ago, and that was a company.
Dang. Oh, you're early on.
Oh yeah, I was an early adopter. Yeah.
Awesome. And, what made you attracted to podcasting so early then?
Well, it was interesting. We originally started the company, Comedy Film Nerds, to be a combination of comedians and filmmakers to have a place to talk about movies, to sell stuff, and to write articles, and kind of be like a hub for comedians and film to kind of combine. And then my partner at the time, Graham Elwood, who founded the company with me, is like, well, we should do a podcast. And that's when I said, well, what's a podcast? And
what the fuck are you talking about?
So we started adding the podcast to the site. And then the podcast became the most important part of the site, because that was what was growing the fastest. And we had a bunch of comedians on and filmmakers, and the show expanded from there. We ended up doing a documentary through the company called Earbuds, the podcasting documentary with Aisha Tyler, Mark Maron, Joe Rogan. So you could see this. It's on Amazon Prime, I think.
Say
right now,
word, man. When that came out?
That came out a couple years ago,
Yo, Chris,
but
look
it's still
at you,
available.
fucking
Yeah.
pioneer, baby. Look what we talking to. Shit, a legend, baby. I love it. This is crazy, man. Love it, love it.
Yeah, so it was a fun movie, and definitely it's worth checking out, especially if you can get it on Amazon Prime if you already have Prime. So it kind
Definitely, I have it. I'm peeping this shit today, bro.
Yeah.
I got to.
Because as you know, Al, like one of the things we explored is there's a very specific connection between a podcaster and the audience that doesn't exist in like any other meeting. It's so personal that it's completely different than watching a show or a movie. And that's kind of what we explored. We went to like Japan and Australia and interviewed fans, and it was awesome. But
you went on a global tour for
we did. We interviewed all sorts of people from all walks of life.
Was that the first time in your life you did a global tour?
That's the first time I've ever been to Australia and Japan, and those countries are amazing.
Dude, how was this? I'm so into wanting to go to Japan. Like, how was that experience?
Amazing.
Where?
I would recommend anybody to go to Japan. I had an amazing time. Like I've been wanting to try to go back too, and to have like a return visit. But I loved Australia too. I've been there a couple times, but Japan was just unbelievable. Loved it.
Yeah, man. I looked up my name, Almega, and that means it's Arumega.
Yeah.
Arumega. It sounds vicious. All right. So talk to me about White Cat now, man. Because you doing comics, you're doing a whole bunch of fun stuff, folks. And let me bring up the website too, because I know we've been chit-chatting here, but look at this, folks. Films, podcasting, graphic novels, books, services.
Yeah.
And then you of course contact them. You're gonna go shopping in a bit, yo. But before we peruse that website, let's hear it from the man himself. What is White Cat? Introduce me to this world. What is it?
White Cat Entertainment is a company I started in 2020, right when the pandemic hit, which is a great time to start a new company, by the way. And
was that by accident, or were you just happen to planning to launch then and then smack?
I was planning to launch it and then bam. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, it wasn't, didn't see this coming.
Shit.
So Comedy Film Nerds, we were wrapping up in 2019, and which ironically a couple months later movie theaters closed. So it was a weird timing that worked out. So I started the company because I always wanted to combine my first love, which was writing and storytelling, with everything else I had been doing over the last couple decades. And that included books, podcasts, films, and graphic novels. And I just wanted to kind of put everything under one banner and kind of like give everything like a just kind of a home and a brand where all of my work could be under one roof. So that's kind of where the way I kind of describe it is it's a comedy and genre storytelling company with an emotional core. And the tag is Outer Worlds, Inner Journeys for White Cat Entertainment.
Oh, damn, bro. And so let's bring it back up and talk about what you got, kiddo. Let's peruse. Let's get into the graphic novels, because it's a comic book. We're going to be talking about some comics, baby. Let's see what we got over here on the comic book side. So, Long Ago and Far Away, Rise of the Kung Fu Master. Not just one, but two books over here. So talk about this. What do we got here?
Long Ago and Far Away is a fantasy comedy story. And I always thought, like, you remember reading like the Narnia books as a kid, like Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and all of those awesome books. I remember always thinking, like, well, what happens to those kids after they go into the fantasy world? They come back to our world. They're 30. They run a comic book shop, and the guy's an asshole. What would happen if he had to go back into that world again as an adult? So, and that's the story of Long Ago and Far Away, where these used to be kids have to go back into this world as an adult. And can he, the hero Jason, can he discover that childlike wonder and that hero that he once was, or did he really peak at 13 and now he's just making things worse? So that's the story.
Oh my God, that actually sounds like a wonderful comedy movie. This needs to be made. All right, you saw the graphic novel, but a movie. This sounds wonderful and historical to be made as a movie. Hell yeah, I think people from '80s and now would fucking eat this shit up, bro.
Absolutely. And I'm stuck in the 80s too, so that gives everything a good
Nothing's
perspective too. Yeah.
wrong with that. I can see that, man, with the kung fu, baby.
Yeah.
You got me smiling here because I'm like, yo, I grew up on Channel 5, Fox, New York, back in the day, 3 o'clock on Saturdays, Kung Fu Theater. Not one soul was goddamn outside because we were watching a movie. And then by 5 o'clock, we're outside practicing these moves, acting like we could climb poles and shit and drapes. Like these people used to climb on drapes. Like, how the hell you climb on a drape like that? If you did that at home, mommy would beat your ass.
Yeah, totally.
I love it. But I'm an 80s child too. But talking about this rise of the Kung Fu Dragon Master. Not one, not just one, but two. But talk about the first and how that led into the second.
Yeah, what Rise of the Kung Fu Dragon Master is actually is another kind of love letters to the buddy comedies of the 80s and like Big Trouble in Little China. And I always felt like all those things that I loved from like the fantasy, the action, the comedy, and the buddy comedies. I wanted to combine all of those things into one project. And that's what Rise of the Kung Fu Dragon Master came from. And what I did instead, like originally I was going to do I did two Kickstarters, one for the first volume, one for the second volume. But since I skipped a step and I actually created a deluxe volume that has both volumes instead, because I only wanted to do one printing. And so right now, the only thing available is the deluxe version, and it has both volume 1 and volume 2 combined. So it's got like more pinups and and it's got like a foreword from Brian Augustin, who just passed away. He was one of the he was the editor on the book. And
shit, lie, really?
Yeah. He passed away right after he finished working on the book. And I'll tell you, he did such a beautiful foreword to this book.
I'm sorry, brother.
That like, man, it was tough because
I don't want to take you back there, but how did you feel? You know, having someone like that work on the book and then getting some type of news like that.
It was hard because he was like I had just met him working on this book, but he was such a great guy. Like I would talk to him on the phone. We would talk about everything from like the book to like parenting to politics. Like he was just a really great guy to talk to. Yeah, and we would have these long conversations, and then when we were done with the book and he passed away, I was bummed because it was this great new connection that I'd made that was very short-lived, sadly. So, but
appreciate those in your life that are creative too, man. Appreciate these relationships and build together. Never know.
So what we did is for the deluxe edition too, I added a page of like in loving memory of like a tribute page for him. So that's the other reason too. Like I wanted to make a deluxe.
You're not messing with me, right?
No.
You sure you don't got none of these hiding in a box on first print somewhere. When it becomes a movie, all of a sudden I'm gonna say, "Hey, I found a box! I found a box of first prints. Hold on, $100 each. Let me mess with me, Chris."
Yeah, I do have boxes in the garage, but yeah, they're available and they're ready.
Yeah, man. Hey, bro. Shit. I feel bad that I missed out. I want to get this. This is right up my alley. So talk about you. Okay, so here you are, right? You've done so many things, but now you're building comic books. Like, what was that learning curve like for you?
It was it was like tough in some ways, but like a little more facilitated in others. Like through podcasting, I had met Mark Wade, and for Long Ago and Far Away, it was actually supposed to be first on his digital platform Thrillbent, but that fell through. The funding went through, but he's kind of been helping and kind of shepherding me a little bit through the process. And like he wrote a foreword for Long Ago and Far Away. He referred me to Brian for the Dragon Master. So I've been actually getting some amazing help. And then the artist Fernando Pinto is amazing. He's the artist on both books. He was very patient. He knew these were like my first books. So we, when we were first kind of starting out, he's like, yeah, you can't put 16 panels on one page. So.
Oh, damn. You were trying 16 panels. Jesus Christ. Bro, you need a microscope to read that.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. Shit. Okay. So he would kind of help me like with the flow and with the layouts, and through my film background, I was able to kind of look at it more like storyboarding a film. So between Fernando's help and me just bringing my film background to panels and storyboarding, we were able to kind of meet in the middle. And now we kind of have a shorthand where I just kind of, describe the action and some of the panels, and he can, fill in the rest in the pages. And it's, they're always, it's always streamlined now. It's fantastic. So it's been great. And then we have a great letterer, Troy Petrie. And then, there's always like the ups and downs of like this publisher who was with, okay, that didn't work out. Then you got to get rights back. And now we're trying again.
Yeah.
And, so there's always everything's always in flux and flow with anything creative, but comics, especially right now. So now I'm looking to launch the next Long Go and Far Away is another Kickstarter, Long Go and Far Away too. Nice. So
how did you find Kickstarter and that experience?
The Kickstarter is
how was that learning curve?
The learning curve for Kickstarter has been up and down. Like it's been mostly great. Like, every once in a while, you like there's no hard and fast rule where if you have 3 successful Kickstarters, the 4th one will be successful. You hope that happens, but it doesn't always. So
it ain't promised, baby.
Yeah, no, there's no guarantees on anything. So I'd say I've done, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 Kickstarters, and 1 hasn't gone, but then you can relaunch it and rework it. But and I've done everything from like the feature film and from a podcast festival to the comics. It's all different things. But you can never take it for granted, and it's a full-time job when you're doing it.
Are you doing another podcast festival, bro?
Yeah, no, I'm out of that business.
Oh, you out?
Yeah.
He gave that shit up. He said, I'm out.
Oh yeah, that running a live event is really, really difficult, and then it's often not very lucrative. So if you're spending a year working on something that's not paying you, you want to really love it. So
I get you. I remember I set up my first virtual Comic-Con during COVID. Mm-hmm. And dude, I set it up within a week with all the guests. All it took was my time, and we had a blast.
That's
awesome. The second
awesome.
time I did it also took just a little bit of time. A lot of people agree that I had interviewed before, and we did it for the leukemia agency, and we collected I think over $3,000.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. So don't give up on stuff like that. Teaching people about podcasts, shit, I'll talk. Because I like Podfest. That's a great podcasting thing that I love to be a part of. And great people and great energy, and host people build, and speak upon things.
Oh yeah, right? Yeah. That's the best part of the festivals. I found like the shows are really good. Like we had a lot of great live shows, but also like I was in charge of for LA Podfest, I would do the panels, and I would have people come in and talk about best practices for podcasts, how to grow, all of those things. And that was like really rewarding, because a lot of people who knew nothing about creating their own podcast would come out and learn.
So is this like a Father's Day 6-pack?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's my parenting book. Yeah.
I love it. As a Father's 6-pack here, kids, shut the F up. I'll take these 6, you get this 1.
Yeah.
I love this. Yo, bro, when the hell did this idea come out? I love the hell out of this. And were you a new dad when you did this?
Absolutely. Huh? Yeah. Well, I was a terrified new dad, and I was looking at all of these books. I'm like, none of these books are helping me. They speak to the mom. How
long has your bid been so far?
What's that?
How long has your bid been? How many years you been a dad?
Oh,
it's like a jail. It's like you're in jail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
18 years.
18. Oh, bro, yeah. Man, mine's 22.
Oh, yeah. So you're up
graduated
there too,
from State University, digital media arts.
Nice.
A degree. Kicking ass. She's an amazing artist, and if folks need some work, hit me up. My daughter's. I'm not gaming because she's my daughter. She really is very talented. Like when she sees, I don't like, I create logos, and she looked at my shit on, and she's like, nah, you need to do this, yo. For real. Like, oh god damn, critical of your own father, hard son, no heart, yo. I love it though. That's what makes you a great artist. So you got to be honest.
100%. And this is this book actually came from there, where it's like, I'm really nervous about being a dad, and I feel like I shouldn't be. Do any other fathers go through this? Like so I thought, well, let me take all of that, dad anxiety, put it into a funny book, and so it can help other dads with the journey, and then to the point where you're terrified of having a kid to actually loving being a father. And this was one of those parts in entertainment that you wish like everything worked that way. Like I wrote up the book proposal. I sent it to an agent. The agent picked it up. They sent it to Simon and Schuster, and they bought it on the first first submission. So that's like, why can't everything work that way?
Right? Why can't it be this easy all the effing time? Dang, kiddo, that's amazing. Bro.
Yeah. So that was one of those. I'm like, oh man, I want more of this, where it's not a constant struggle. So every once in a while, things go smoothly in the business.
Yeah, but this cover is amazing. I mean, if you go to a convention, you sell these 6-packs, bro, you have a line out the door.
I'd have to get a liquor license, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, we got to figure it out, Chris. This needs to happen. This needs to happen for Father's Day. Father's Day special, bro. This will sell like hotcakes, bro. And the comedy film with a guide to movies? Oh, word? What's this, bro?
Yeah.
I have a friend that will eat this up.
Yeah, this was a book that we made while we were doing the Comedy Film Nerds podcast. So we have like a bunch of really great comedians that each wrote chapters. And what we did is each comedian took a different genre of movies, like drama or rom-coms. And then we did like the top 10 in that genre and the bottom 10 in that genre, and we tried to cover as much as we could. Now, obviously, with a book about movies like that, recent films will not be in there, but there's enough in there to keep film nerds happy for a while.
Everybody wants the racy stuff. Stop it, you pervs. We're talking about movies here. You want porn, you go to Blind Adam and his crazy shenanigans. And let's check out the podcast too. I mean, look at his website. I mean, a lot of flavors here, folks. You see, Chris is looking to keep you entertained. So what are you watching? The Quiet Journey of the Professor Atwood Conversations from the Abyss. So what's popping? Look at that.
Yeah.
You're a busy man, kid.
Those are my 3 podcasts. The What Are You Watching is still kind of an interview show. That's the one that's not really storytelling, although I get guests to tell me their stories. So that's always fun too. And what I love about doing that show is that when you have creators talking about what they're creating, it always gives you a little more insight into what they're watching and why. Like, well, why is somebody that's making this watching this? And it's funny how comedians always tend to watch dramas, and people that work on like dramas tend to watch comedy. So people tend to consume the things that they're not making, which is always fun.
That's funny. Yeah. And what's up with that? The Quiet Journey to Professor Atwood. Who's Professor Atwood?
That's me. That's the Quiet Journey to
Professor. Say you're a professor. I've been addressing you all wrong the whole time. I'm quite Professor.
Yeah. This is one I actually did create kind of like as part of the reaction to the pandemic, where I wanted to do a storytelling podcast that because everyone was kind of going nuts and having awful anxiety and everything was going through the roof.
You're being too kind.
So I wanted to create like a podcast and take kind of everything that I learned and knew and experienced and put it into something that could also entertain and help people. So what it is, it's a podcast that I am a professor who goes on all these different weird journeys throughout space and under the ocean, and they're told in a very calm and relaxing manner, so it helps people kind of tone down anxiety and also help them go to sleep. And it has like a bed of like music and sound effects, so you can kind of get the pictures in your head as you like relax. So it's kind of like a funny stories, but also a tool to kind of help you with anxiety and insomnia too.
And folks, now you see his face, so this is who you'll be dreaming about next.
Yeah. I have to get my lab coat. So
and what about Conversations from the Abyss?
Conversations from the Abyss is the opposite of the Quiet Journeys of Professor Atwood. I always say it's stories to help you sleep and stories to keep you awake. It's this one is a Twilight Zone kind of podcast where it's 2 conversations between 2 living things, possibly, and like sometimes it's a demon, sometimes it's something weirder, maybe it's a werewolf, but they have these conversations that you feel like you're overhearing in a weird, creepy way. And then I called like a bunch of my comedy friends, like Aisha Tyler and some of the people from
Hey, wait a minute. Let me get
Welcome to
my
Night
broom.
Vale, and
Let me get my broom. But you started dropping some names.
I know.
There.
Right, yeah. So yeah.
Hold on.
Let me pick up those names that I just dropped. And but yeah. So they're really fun, but creepy like stories, and they're super short. They're like 15 to 20 minutes each, and you can jump into any of them. They're all like Twilight Zone anthology style,
and available everywhere.
Available everywhere. Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at this
For
guy.
free.
He pimps himself everywhere for free. Look at, he said for free. Everybody's favorite F word.
Yeah.
Other than that other one, free. Yeah, yo, you know what I'm saying? Look at everywhere. Spotify, Google Podcasts. Make it happen, folks. This is what you gotta support. Amazing independent creators doing their things. Look at their amazing website. Let me share it again. There you go, boys. Right there at the bottom. You got comic books. You got podcasting. There's films. You know what I mean? So when we're talking about films, we're not talking nothing nasty either, right? For the person.
No.
Sure that
actual right. Films.
Earbuds. What's this? This the latest thing?
That's the documentary that I was talking about. The
there we go.
About podcasting.
Right,
yeah.
Look at that. I like the artwork. That shit was cool. Yeah, but and my myopic vision's trailer.
Yeah, that's like a bunch of short films I did together, and then that's a horror movie. The last one, I don't have any images of it because it was a disaster. It's a horror movie I did for
wait. Are you being a harsh critic, or was it really that bad?
No, it really was a disaster. They they bought my script, threw it away, shot their own movie, and then I had to come in and actually. It's a whole thing. I did a couple podcasts about it. You could click through to actually read about or to listen to the whole story.
I effing will.
Yeah,
I love it. This is why Latinos call bochinche, like gossip. We love it. Let's do it.
It's insane. Like whenever somebody brings you to a meeting and says, "Yeah, that script you sold us." Well, they there was a runaway production. They threw it away. They shot their own movie. It's unwatchable. Now we need you to fix it. And I was,
oh shit!
That's how the story starts. So.
Oh damn! For real. And what's this? Sci-Fi Channel representing me the Future Film Filmmaker Award for Skins. What's that?
Yeah, I did a bunch of short films, and then they got picked up by the Sci-Fi Channel, and then I won an award for. I might actually have it here for filmmaking from them. Let's see. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. This is kind of probably not. No.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yeah,
it's
a big E. Yeah.
Not an ecstasy pill, folks. An actual letter E.
Okay. Yeah. So that was a couple of years ago, but it was nice. It was they had they were really supportive of short films and short filmmaking. And in a time that a lot of networks weren't. I mean, now with YouTube and everything, you could see short films a lot of places. But at the time, the networks were like, "Well, we don't care about short films, especially for science fiction and fantasy."
And now they do. You have networks dedicated to short films now. All of a sudden,
completely different, story now.
Isn't the world crazy, right? Now you catch on. Like, when you had the opportunity, all of you guys are doing the blockbuster. You had the opportunity to buy Netflix. You said no, and you done fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hollywood is always 10 to 20 years behind.
Jeez, bro. Yeah, but that hurts the creator overall, because then you'll have that niche, limited audience, and then do you really want to be known as the cult creator, or you want to be, at the moment, like, appreciate what I got it when I did it now.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. Every artist really at least wants the opportunity to sell out as quickly as possible. So
how fucking not to be the code when you're 60, all of a sudden it's like, damn, I wrote to check out bigger all of a sudden. The hell? Now they like this shit. Yeah. What I'm telling you, I laugh, y'all. Years later, they talk about certain movies that they were bashing on social. And then 10 years later, all of a sudden, you know what? It really wasn't that bad. Wow, how opinions change.
Well, you and I remember when there wasn't that many comic book movies. We would get one a year, and you were lucky to get that.
Do you know what I just watched recently? The Spider-Man movie from the 70s when he was in Japan. Do you know how bad that movie is? That's how it was. Folks, we suffered. So I don't complain, I eat this shit up because anything is better than that.
Yeah.
This motherfucker on the roof, there's nobody around. He's still walking around like he's sneaking.
Yeah.
What is going on, bro? Nobody there. Could you fucking walk? Jesus.
Oh yeah, and the costumes would never fit right, and the special effects were terrible because there was no budget for any of these, and we would get maybe one higher budget thing a year, but that was not a guarantee that it would be good, and if that was bad, you had to wait another year for the next superhero movie.
Oh man,
hope it would be good.
Chris, man, some of you were part of the generation when the Hulk movie with Thor, and everybody heard of, oh man, we're gonna get Thor in a fucking TV movie, and we saw Thor.
Yeah, and then we got the Hulk movie with Daredevil with Rex Smith from Solid Gold.
Oh my god! Oh my god, bro! Yes. You see, folks, you see how we were tortured. You see why we try not to argue about the things that are out now.
Yeah.
Please understand us. Stop bitching. Look what we went through.
Just remember, everything is better now. So keep that in mind.
Imagine we had social media then. These people would have committed suicide.
Yeah.
Jeez, bro. We would have been evil back then with these fucking movies. We're like, yeah, thank you, but no thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Too much bulge, too much this, too much ass crack. You know, the suit is too tight. What's going on, bro? Fuck. Yeah. It was a good time, Chris. What can I tell you, bro?
Yeah.
Right, so we're talking about good times. Where can I see you next? Are you going to be doing any live shows where you're going to be presenting all the wonderful product that White Cat Entertainment got to offer? Any conventions, any tabling, any live shows? What's going on?
Next month, I'm going to be at the Ontario Comic-Con in California. And I will be there for Saturday and Sunday. I'll be White Cat Entertainment will have a booth there, so you could definitely come check us out. We'll have everything there, anything you want to buy, including the parenting book, Pacify Me. So,
I'll have everything. I wish you had a 6-pack here, the ultimate collectible. So, your booth numbers to make it easy for them. You know what aisle you at?
That's a great question. I should probably know that, but I don't. But I don't think it's a giant convention. It's a decent size, but I'm findable, I think.
Okay, great. You should be. He has a big look at that logo. You can't miss it. Right behind him this whole time, folks. Mm-hmm. All right, awesome. So any other shows other than the Ontario show?
That's the only upcoming live performance I have coming up. I will be walking around Comic-Con this year, but I won't have a booth. So if you see me in the throng of 8 million people, just say hi.
Yeah, man, I get it, man. I'm trying to see. Uncle Sam kind of screwed me up a little bit, so now I got to see if I could go to San Diego. If I do, I'll definitely let you know so we can hang out.
That would be great. Yeah. The other thing I have coming up is if you get on the website and go on the mailing list, I'll have the new Long Go and Far Away Kickstarter that'll be in the next probably couple months. That'll be launching. You
better send Comic Crusaders that press release so we can share it, announce it to our fellow Crusaders, so that way we show the love and support wonderful independent comic books and fun stuff like what you guys are producing, yo. Chris, man, thank you.
Thanks, Al.
From a fan to a creator and a fellow person just doing things. Thank you for being bold and brave enough to put stuff out there and just share. And make it fun for us and put in a smile on our face. It means a lot. So thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on, Al.
Nah, brother, you rock. And folks, I'm going to show you one more time. You want to support what Chris is doing, please visit whitecatentertainment.com. The link is also below. Click away. Make them fingers sore like you're from the Jetsons and shit, clicking away, showing the love and buying everything they got. All right, and support and following. You can follow Chris and his brand on Twitter. So follow the brand at White Cat Stories on Twitter. And you can follow Chris J. Mancini, all right? The new Boom Boom. Wepa! That's right. That's about to kick some ass. The Boom Boom of comics, all right? Boom Boom Mancini of comics. I love it, all right? Rocking it out. Knocking MFers out with the wonderful indie books. That's what White Cat is doing. So show the love, support indie always like Comic Crusaders do. Please subscribe, turn on notifications so you know when we got some dope stuff coming out. And of course, also support my other family over there, undercovercapes.com, with wonderful shows. And I also got a show where we're talking to entrepreneurs, that are coaches and motivational speakers and all that are out there that inspire you, so where you can learn from them, hopefully, and get out there and doing your own thing too via the AMP, the Omega Podcast. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. So the love, as always. Hasta la próxima, mi gente. Wepa! Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.